Why it always falls apart with the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. So, the house of cards, the Ponzi scheme, the grift, the narcissist's relationships, they all fall apart. They all crumble down in ashes. The narcissist takes the best of people and they leave all the toxicity or dump all the toxicity into said person. This is an energetic exchange between one person who is toxic and another person who has no idea about toxicity. You were one of those people. You were the person who was targeted. You were the person who was manipulated. You were the person who was placed in that trauma bond, the devaluation stage, the narcissistic fog. You didn't know how you got there. You didn't know it existed. And you didn't know that the narcissist knew exactly what they were doing. As you're understanding about narcissism, you are growing, you are ascending, you're elevating, and you're learning about mindset, about energy, about toxicity, about narcissism, about empathy, and about abundance. You're learning that the path is to go no contact with said person. It's to block them, delete them, remove them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. Now, I do realize it may not be that easy for you. Perhaps you're still connected with the narcissist. Maybe you're living under the household. Maybe one of your parents is the narcissist. Maybe it's your roommate and you signed a lease 2 months ago and you've got a 2-year lease. Maybe it's your spouse. You just figured this out after a 10, 12, 15, 20-year marriage. Maybe it's your brother or sister. Maybe it's your workmate. Maybe it's the person that you're sharing a space with, meaning maybe it's a gym membership and you're a gym buddy. Who knows who it is, but whoever they are, they know what they're doing and they're looking for attention. They're looking for direction. They're looking for supply and they're looking to steal anything they can from you. The narcissist essentially is nothing but a person who mimics back what they steal from other people. There is no originality in the narcissist. There is no authenticity, and they know this. And their days are numbered. They know that too. They have fewer and fewer places to hide. They know that also. There are fewer rocks that they can slither underneath. There are few supply sources they can attach themselves onto. And there are fewer and fewer beautiful, bright, shining lights that are engaging with toxicity these days. You're one of those people. One of the people who has said, no mas, I am done. I have a one-strike rule, and once you cross me, I'm done. I'm not going to explain myself, defend myself. I am going to have identified the signs, and I will be withdrawing communication from you. That's how I live my life. It's how I've lived my life for almost 5 years, and my hope is that's how you're living your life. Now, this isn't meant to hurt other people. Many people I work with during one-on-one sessions, they can't bring themselves to go no contact because they're thinking it's going to hurt the narcissist or it's going to hurt other people that they're blocking. Those people have it wrong. Yeah, and maybe that's you. I'm trying my best to get you to understand this is your life. This is your journey. And if there's any person at all, any one person, a micro person or a macro or anybody in between who is having you doubt yourself, they're blaming you, they're guilting you, they're creating disruption, chaos, confusion, basically they are not supporting you, then they have to go. And if you think for a minute that said person or people are going to change, if they haven't changed to this point in life, they're not going to miraculously change tomorrow. You need to stop holding your breath. You need to stop waiting for something that will never happen. You need to stop waiting for a day that will never arrive, which is why, as the thumbnail mentions, every narcissistic relationship falls apart. They're all nothing but a big grift. They're nothing but a Ponzi scheme. They're nothing but a house of cards. If you notice the illustration or the graphic to the right of the thumbnail, what is that? That is a Jenga game that is falling apart. What is Jenga meant? Well, Jenga is meant to be a game, but does it fall apart in the end? Of course it does. And that is why it's on the thumbnail. And there is a story behind that Jenga, which goes back to the wedding night of myself years ago. And one day I will share that when I'm speaking publicly. But having said that, it is extremely important and pivotal. And yes, I just realized this myself a few days ago about Jenga and the house of cards and the narcissists, plural, and how it all falls apart, because it does. You see, you were the glue that kept the relationship together. You probably were the glue that kept your family together. You probably were the glue that steered all of your friendships, your colleagues, your coworkers, your romantic relationships, and everyone else in one direction, which was a good direction. And the narcissists saw this. They saw what your capabilities were, and they wanted to harness those or corral them for themselves. They didn't want you communicating with other people because they knew, I'm talking about the narcissist, if they could isolate you, then you would be reliant upon them. You would be asking them. You would be reporting back to them. You would be waiting for them to come home or communicate with you. And this is what the narcissist does. They are a master, and I mean master manipulating at isolating people. And they can isolate you with proximity, with physical distance. They can isolate you in your own house when you're getting the silent treatment. They can isolate you from 4,000 miles away when they text you, or let me flip it, when you text them and they don't respond to you, but yet you get the 2 blue check marks. You see, this is what the narcissist does. They sell you a bill of goods. They sell you future faking. They sell you days of which will never arrive. And they promise you all these things. They promise them to you with their eyes, with their mannerisms, with their words, with in the beginning, with a little bit of their actions. But this is all fake. It's all nothing but a house of cards. Yeah, I've said that 3 times because you need to understand what a house of cards is. I'll illustrate that for a quick moment. Picture a deck of cards. You have 54 cards. I know you're thinking there's 52. Well, there are 52. There are 13 per different denomination or different type of card. Club, diamond, spade, and heart. Well, there are also 2 extra cards in there. Yes, the jokers. I talked about this last year. I'll touch on it for a moment. Why do you think the jokers were thrown into a deck of cards? Open up any brand new deck of cards. You will find 2 jokers in there. Why do you think they're there? Ding, ding, ding. It's not an accident. It's not a coincidence. It's meant to illustrate to you, although you didn't know it back then, and my hope is you know it by now. If you don't, I'll share it with you. The jokers are everywhere. The narcissists are everywhere. They're in plain sight. They hide in plain sight. You didn't know this. Now you're understanding it. So going back to the illustration with the deck of cards, each club, spade, heart, diamond, they all have 13. But that joker, what do you think it does? It's a wild card. It's meant to disrupt the deck. That's why the joker, i.e. the narcissist, disrupted your energy and your space and your direction and your purpose, because the narcissist knew what they were doing. They simply wanted to impede your growth, impede your path, and steal everything about you, use it for themselves, take what they could, discard you, crumble you up like a sheet of paper, rinse, wash, repeat with new people, on and on and on. And what the narcissist knows now, and they're realizing, is that what they did with you or to you, it didn't work. Yeah, they took their best shots at you, and they tried their best to knock you down for the count, but they couldn't. They failed, and they failed miserably because you're different. You're cut from a different cloth than all those other people that the narcissist had destroyed their lives. You are rebuilding. You are focusing on yourself. You are realizing that you are, in fact, the priority, that you come first, second, and third. There's no room in your life for toxicity now, tonight, tomorrow, or in the future. That's why once you do your part and you go no contact, as I have, and so many hundreds of millions, yes, that number is accurate, and it's growing every single day. As you do your part, the narcissist has less places to slither off to. And eventually what will happen? Yes, you're right. Narcissism will be eradicated in its current form. Will it be eradicated permanently? I don't think so. It could happen, but I don't think so. But I do know one thing. Narcissism is shape-shifting right now as I'm creating this video. It's forming itself in different avenues. It is blending in with society, different fabrics of society. What worked for the narcissist in the past isn't working today. So they have to adjust. Who is they? The dark energy. All of these parasites connected by the underworld. Yes, the narcissists. They're having to change the direction of how they're doing what they're doing. They are recalibrating, as are you. The difference here for this part of the video is way back when you didn't know what you were up against. Now you do. Now you know it was a big grift. It was nothing but a Ponzi scheme, and it was nothing but a toxic, abusive parasite trying to glom onto you and to extinguish you and your beautiful, bright, shining light while stealing everything out from underneath you. But as you're healing, the narcissist is continuing to spin around on that hamster wheel. But they are figuring out, as I've shared for years, that their days are numbered. So they are going to have to approach people in different mannerisms, in different avenues, in different techniques and tactics. It's already happening. You may see it, you may not. And yes, I will touch on these avenues and these methods that the narcissist is shifting to over the weeks, months, and years, because I'm seeing it every single day. I'm hearing about it during one-on-one sessions. I'm watching it in my elevator. I'm watching it when I engage or interact with people out and about. I am observing, doing what I call social experiments. Yeah, these are things I do. Do I walk around every day looking for narcissists? No, I don't. Anything but. I live an abundant, fruitful, peaceful, serene, calm, purpose-filled life. That's what you will do once you cut the ties. And you may ask, what are the ties? The ties are the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual tie. They must be cut from you, by you, for you, to the narcissist. They have to be cut, severed. Cut, cut, cut. As you cut them, you get stronger. As you get stronger, the narcissist gets weaker. As they get weaker, more clarity arrives in your mind. The clearer your mind gets, the more purpose is revealed to you. The more purpose is revealed, the more you realize that that relationship wasn't as bad as you thought it was. It was a lot worse than you thought. And the narcissist never wanted you to know that. They also didn't want you to heal. They didn't want you to see behind the mask, and they did not want you to deduce what they were. Notice what I said, not who they were, what they were. So you should play this video, and you should play it multiple times, and you should pay it forward to anybody who could use the wisdom. This video will be cut short in a couple minutes because the videos for the next week or so will be about 12 to 15 minutes for my own purpose. And then after that, if you all, the community, want longer videos, believe me, I will gladly create videos upwards of an hour. I could even do videos for 2 hours. I know it's a long time, but I'm prepping for speaking publicly, which I will not get into in this video. What I will share is it all falls apart, always, for the narcissist. Just like the thumbnail, that Jenga game. That's what it was. It was nothing but a game to the narcissist. And they were building you up only to tear you down. And once they tore you down after stealing everything out from underneath you, they mocked you, they grimaced, they laughed, they smirked. Their eyes got swelled with supply. Their beach ball pupils swelled with blackness of supply. That lasted them for quite a while, watching your demise, destruction, and watching you flail and not know what happened. But once you healed, guess what? That boomerangs right back to the narcissist. And what happens? They experience a massive, monumental, irreparable narcissistic injury. And yes, I did mean the word irreparable. Why? Because here's what will happen with the narcissist. When they realize you've healed, and they will, because they will feel it energetically, and they will realize when you went no contact that you are, in fact, the one that got away. That will be in the back of their tiny little pea brain, you, the one that got away. Unlike all the other sources of supply, of which many are not living, a lot of them are stuck, a lot are pining or haven't healed or didn't figure out what narcissism is. And my hope is that weren't the case, but that is the case most likely. Unlike those people, you figured it out. And your healing does damage to the narcissist. Your blocking does damage to the narcissist. Your focus, your purpose, your recalibration, moving as far away from them as fast as you can, does damage to the narcissist. I will say this, then I will close the video. Shared it for years. Do I wish ill will upon anybody? No, I don't. Do I wish ill will upon the narcissist? Absolutely not. But you cannot go through life destroying people's hopes, dreams, aspirations, health, money, time, purpose, and everything else without there being a big price to pay. And that's the price the narcissist is beginning to pay right now. And they do know it. So no, I do not wish ill will upon anybody. But you cannot, and I repeat this, you cannot go through life destroying people without it coming back to do damage to you, because there's a price to pay for each and every one of us for what we do or don't do on this planet, which is why you are a beautiful, bright, shining light. You are not supply. And that's why it always, and I do mean always, will fall apart. Just like the grift, just like the scam, just like the Ponzi scheme the narcissist is. It will always fall apart because these people, these creatures, these dark energy sources, they know how to destroy, how to take, how to trap, how to trick, how to manipulate, but they do not know how to be authentic, how to be honest, how to be transparent, and how to be committed. They can't do it. All they can do is steal and destroy and create more and more havoc and disruption. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved, and I mean loved, doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. A few things. One, the narcissist will never change. Two, yeah, I mentioned Ponzi scheme or grift 4 or 5 times. Maybe that's the 5th or 6th time I said it, because you need to understand I'm using different lexicon to illustrate from different angles that these relationships, you need to get away from them as fast as you can and as far as you can. They don't improve. They don't change. They will only continue to keep you trapped until you cut the ties. So stop giving toxicity opportunities. Stop giving toxicity chances, and stop thinking it was your fault. It wasn't your fault. The narcissist is a parasite. They know what they're doing. Once they're out of your life, they need to stay out. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.